I don't know about anyone else in this isolation period, but my hair, I'm looking like a wild child, basically. What I want to talk about today is my journey with sobriety. I'm coming up to being 2 months sober on Monday. And it's not the sobriety that I want to talk about, it's the freedom that I have found from removing alcohol and addressing my addictions and my emotional nature. This isn't my first time being sober either, but something in me has profoundly shifted. And this time I am choosing to be sober, and I'm in a 12-step recovery program. I'm relying on a power greater than myself. I'm connecting with other alcoholics and people who get it. I'm spending time with people who make me feel good. And I have just been experiencing the most calming sense of peace within me. And not to say that I don't have emotional breakdowns, I very much still do. But alcohol is a drug that is so commonly used in Australia, and especially now in isolation. I feel that a lot of everyone's addictive personalities will be coming out, and we're all doing something that we don't really want to be doing, whether it's watching too much TV, eating too much sugar, drinking too much, exercising too much, or doing nothing at all. It doesn't really matter, and you don't have to have that definition of an addict to know that something needs changing. And basically what I've learned in recovery is that you can only self-diagnose. So what I want to talk about is the superpowers that I have been unlocking from being sober, and the happiness and freedom and joy and peace that comes with that. There's so much potential to thrive when we come out of this and just flip it up. I'm talking about the traits and the skills that got people like myself into addiction. It can be anything: alcohol, food, drugs, sex. The first one I want to talk about is this amazing ability of being so hypersensitive and hyper aware of what's going on around us. With addiction, it's normally something you're ashamed of and you don't want other people to see. And so with my food and my alcohol, there would be times where I would be binging or drinking, and I'd be so aware of noises around me that I could very quickly stop what I was doing because I didn't want to get caught out. Now, trying to cut down something that you aren't wanting to do anymore or step away from that addiction is turning that hypersensitivity and awareness not to getting caught out, but turning it to your emotions and what you're feeling, and really asking yourself some empowering questions. You have this ability to use this awareness to start improving your life and tuning into your emotions and your physical state, and really start to not let yourself tolerate feeling bad. You don't deserve to feel bad. You weren't born with this need to feel bad. It's happening, and it's up to you to change how that's operating. It's up to you to change how you're feeling. The second superpower that I have been unlocking for myself that I want to share is the ability to shut off everything that is important to me to instead focus on that one thing I want in that moment. So whether it's alcohol or food, in that moment, I have the ability to shut out everything, whether it's work, friends, family, commitments, and purely focus on that one thing. I have that ability. An addict is so committed to something that they want and need that they forget that everything else happens. And when you want something so badly, we have the ability to make it happen, good or bad. You don't have to listen to the people who say you aren't committed, because you 100% are committed. You have just been putting your focus in the wrong area. You are committed to your happiness. That is what addiction is. You are so committed to something that gives you that effect of feeling good, even if it's only temporary. Same with depression and anxiety, that feeling of wanting to feel better, But the only thing you know how to do in that moment is worry and depression. The only thing you know how to do is stay in your room and lie in bed because you don't want to get up and face and do the work. But really, it's just about wanting something better for yourself. The next superpower or skill that I have realized that we all have, whether we are an addict or not, is this ability to visualize. And when it came to alcohol and food and addiction, I had this ability of the after effect to really visualize how bad my life was, and the frequency of that visualization, in turn, my life was quite shit, really. And I was suffering mentally, physically, and spiritually. But now I am tapping into that power of visualization to imagine a beautiful life for myself and tapping into gratitude and what a positive day feels like and how it feels to really love myself and do the things that make me feel good. And singers, we literally all have this ability to tap into that positive psychology and visualization. It's just that we have been so accustomed to focusing on the bad rather than the good. It can be as simple as that. Our energy literally flows to where our focus goes. I actually have that on my wrist. You become what you think. Thank you, Buddha. I live by that mantra. And that actually leads me straight into the last superpower or skill that I've been unlocking for myself, and that is the ability to focus. And this is something that a lot of meditation practices involve, and so much talk about humans not having enough attention span because we're so distracted by technology. And to some degree that is true, but when you think about it, with addiction, we can become so focused on what feels good in that moment and then what feels bad after that moment, that we are so focused on that we have no idea about all the good that's out there. Same with a kid, for example. If he's watching a show that he really, really likes, he will literally sit there for hours on end watching this show because it is something that he is interested in and his focus is purely on that. It's not that I don't have the ability to focus, it's just that I wasn't focusing on the things that make me feel good. And this is something that I encourage all of you to do during this isolation and pandemic. Go sit somewhere nice in the sun or in a quiet space. Literally start writing a list of all the things that make you feel good, that light you up on the inside, that are fun and make you feel happy and take you back to your childhood days. It doesn't have to be these full-on serious set goals, just little things that make you feel good. You all have the ability to focus on what makes you feel good, and it's just about learning what makes you feel good and taking the time to get to know yourself and tuning into the things that you used to enjoy and maybe have forgotten to do. And I'll leave it at there for today, but I just really wanted to send some positive vibes out into the world and just let you know that you're not alone. And I encourage you all to start looking really within and getting honest with yourself and speaking your truth, because so much peace and power comes from that.